The cookie virus. Stages. Journal entries by beginning stage. Pony is somewhat sane, but very hungry. They crave the cookies they were infected with more than anything and are desperate to do anything for more. Earliest sign is rainbow muzzle and permanent smile/frown. Going blind? Blown pupils, rainbow muzzle. Second stage. Pony's sanity is declining. They can still speak, but cannot stop thinking about their hunger. They are extremely desperate for cookies, so much so they start chasing down and eating anything living, in case they have cookies in their stomach. Their mouths and stomach begin to rot. Hairs and feathers begin to fall out. Stretching mouth, stretching induces skin tearing, losing feathers and hair. Third stage. Sanity is gone. They can no longer speak and can only make desperate sounds of hunger and anger. They begin eating ponies, hoping for a sweet taste to satisfy their needs. Their mouths are starting to stretch or drop, depending on if they are mutated with the smile or frown. They are dangerously skinny. Different parts of their body begin to stretch and change depending on the pony. Manes and tail, hair have shed. Pony is unrecognizable besides the cutie mark. Sunken eyes, blind, incredible sense of smell, skinny, hungry. Mutations begin, different for every pony. In this case, stretching limbs. The fourth stage, run away. Rainbow Dash's journal, surviving the cookie virus. This is all my fault. I'm not the type to keep a journal, but Rarity says writing down your thoughts can help keep your nerves and keep your thoughts straight. Right now, me, Applejack, Rarity, and CMCs are hiding out in the Sweet Apple Acres barn. We barricaded all the windows and doors, but we can't stay here forever. We're all fine, just pretty shaken up. Applejack is looting the barn, finding anything we can eat or use as weapons. She refuses to look at me or even speak to me. Rarity is panicking. That's obvious, but she's trying to calm her sister down. Poor Sweetie Belle isn't taking any of this well. She hasn't stopped crying since we got here. Apple Bloom is also trying to comfort Sweetie Belle and help AJ, but Scootaloo isn't speaking to me. I don't really blame her. We're all that's left in Ponyville as far as we know. As far as I know. We gave everyone those horrible cookies. All I can see when I close my eyes is Twilight's twisted grin and Fluttershy's drooping frown. I don't want to think about them. Pinkie Pie was the first pony who ate a cookie, but I haven't seen her anywhere. She wasn't at Sugar Cube Corner with the poor Cake family. Those little cake twins. What have I done? The cookie virus. The cookie virus stages. Browning ponies. Journal entries by Dr. Hooves. Beginning stage. Same as Smiling Pony. Pony still has some sanity, but is very hungry. All they talk about is how much they need the cookies they were infected with. Earliest sign of infection is rainbow muzzle and permanent smile or frown. Unlike Smiling Ponies, pupils are dilated and eyes begin to sink. Permanently drooping jaw. Second stage. Pony sanity is declining. They can still speak, but all they seem to mumble is the word cookies. They're extremely desperate for cookies, so much so that they start chasing down anything living. At this stage, they often find and eat small animals. Though, if confronted by a pony, they won't hesitate to attack. Their mouths and stomach begin to rot. Hair and feathers begin to fall out. Drooping jaw induces skin tearing. Sunken eyes, possibly blind. Third stage. Sanity is completely gone. Pony can no longer speak and only make desperate sounds of hunger and anger. They begin strictly targeting ponies, hoping for a sweet taste to satisfy their needs. Unlike Twilight Sparkle, who I observed in the past, Fluttershy seems to droop downward instead of growing taller. Do all frowning ponies mutate this way? I am unsure, but it's too dangerous for me to find out. Mane and feathers have completely shed. Pony is left unrecognizable besides cutie mark. Eyes? She keeps staring at me. Drooping / stretching neck. Unhinged jaw. Teeth? Final stage. Pony is beyond unrecognizable. Can't even call it a pony anymore. Blind? But has incredible hearing and sense of smell. Breathing is rapid and rigid. It is very hungry. It will lunge and attack at any noise or scent of blood. Stay indoors and lock the doors. Going outside is guaranteed death. I think she can see me. Can she see me? She sees me. Rainbow Dash's Journal. Surviving the Cookie Virus, Part 2. We camped out in the barn for only 2 nights before we were spotted. We heard an awful groaning sound and I took a peek outside. A mangled and grinny Granny Smith was slowly approaching the barn. Luckily, she was far away enough for us to have time to pack up a wagon of supplies and book it out the back door. AJ and I pulled the cart with every pony inside, but even with the 2 fastest ponies in Ponyville running in sync, an awful thudding sound was echoing behind us. Granny was chasing us. Apple Bloom started crying, "That's my Granny! She's my family! We have to help her!" I took a look at AJ, and she had tears in her eyes. "That ain't our family no more, Sugar Cube." We didn't know where we were headed, but it had to be far away from Granny and away from Ponyville. But we were suddenly cut off by a creature jumping in front of us. It was hard to tell who it was in the moment, but from Applejack's guttural scream, I'm positive it was Big Macintosh. Or it used to be, at least. In an effort to get away from him, AJ and I took a violent swerve right, tumbling down a steep hill. It was a really hard fall. Everyone fell out of the wagon, and the thing crashed into a big apple tree. In the mess, a chunk of the wagon crushed my wing, and another fell on AJ's leg. My wing hurt like heck, and it was all twisted in ways it shouldn't be. But there was no time to shake it off. We had to go. Rarity levitated all the supplies she could, and AJ and I carried the CMCs on our backs. AJ was limping harshly with every step, but she was blind. She was in such a blind panic, I'm not sure she even realized she was hurt. AJ led the way and showed us to a little wooden shed in the middle of the orchard. AJ said that the part of the orchard was so far away from the barn, they built a little shed to hold extra supplies. It was small and uncomfortable. Everyone was pressed up against either a basket or a shovel. But AJ reassured us it was only until morning, and when those things were gone. Her family. I could barely sleep. My wing felt broken. And I'm sure Applejack isn't in any better condition. Plus, I couldn't get Granny's face out of my head, or Apple Bloom's cries. So I decided to be lookout, staying awake and listening or watching for anything close by. I couldn't hear anything all night. Not footsteps, not heavy breathing, not or anything. Well, I'm sure we were all safe. I couldn't help the feeling that we were being watched. Rainbow Dash's Journal, Surviving the Cookie Virus, Part 3. I must have fallen asleep at some point because I woke up at Rarity nudging my shoulder. It was morning and everyone was awake. Applejack said it was okay to leave. We each grabbed a basket and loaded them with apples. For the time being, they'd be our only food source. I had barely picked 5 apples when I heard Rarity shriek. Without much thinking, I ran to her. She was holding up a magical gem shield and pushing back what used to be Big Mac. He was thrashing and gargling, and Rarity's magic was fading. What should I do? What could I do? Before I could act, some pony lunged into the scene, whipping out a powerful flashlight and shining it into Big Mac's eyes. Eye sockets? Big Mac howled and took a few dizzy steps away. The pony yelled, "Get the Crusaders! Follow me!" The 3 of us ran, AJ being the only one still carrying her apple basket. Rarity and I carried the Crusaders. In a blind panic, we followed this pony until we were out of breath and sure we weren't followed. We only stopped when AJ collapsed to the ground, the pony turning to help her. And that's when I got a good look at her. Pinky? I jumped on Pinky for a hug, but she shoved me away. This confused me because I've never been denied a hug from Pinkie Pie. But she did look a lot different. As she helped AJ to her hooves, I got a good look at her. She had multiple scars on her hair down, multiple scars on her body, and her mouth was rainbow. "I'm not infected," Pinky said, "and I'm bunkering at Fluttershy's cottage. Let's go." AJ ended up ditching the apple basket, and Pinky carried her on her back. Pinkie Pie led us to Fluttershy's. Fluttershy's? Oh, darling, does this mean... Rarity seemed overjoyed, but Pinky sighed. "No, she's gone too. But she's also not home. Hasn't been for a while. Her cottage is far away enough from Ponyville that I've been bunking there for a while now." When we got to Fluttershy's, it was just as Pinky said, empty. Not even a single animal, but there were lots of bloody chunks on the ground of what used to be Shy's critters. I wonder if Fluttershy did this. Pinky led us to Fluttershy's basement and grabbed the medical kit, bandaging up AJ's leg before doing the same to my wing. "I'm not a doctor, so I don't know if you'll heal right. I'm sorry." "It's cool," I replied. My wing hurt, but it felt better in the sling. "Now, I need answers from you, Pinky. We can't keep secrets during this. What's happened to you? Are you infected?" Pinky looked around the room and sighed. "Can I speak to you alone?" I wanted to argue, to tell her that whatever she had to say, she could say it to every pony. But the way she spoke was suddenly soft. She sounded on the verge of tears. So I agreed. We made our way upstairs and quietly looked through all the windows to make sure we hadn't been followed. Pinky sighed and turned to me, tears welling up in her eyes. "Oh, Rainbow, this is all my fault." Rainbow Dash's Journal. Trigger warning, character death. Surviving the Cookie Virus Part 4. I was shocked. Pinkie just admitted that this virus was entirely her fault, but I thought it was my own. No, Pinkie, it can't be. I was the one who fed everyone those cookies. I fed everyone the cookies. Tears were streaming down Pinkie's face, so I could tell that this wasn't a time to argue, even if I wanted to take all the blame. She continued to explain herself. I'm sure Applejack told you by now that this was all meant to be a terrible prank on you. To one-up you. And it was all my idea. When you came to me with the idea to prank the whole town with those rainbow joke cookies, I came up with the idea to prank you into thinking we all became zombies from eating them. But after you fed me that first cookie, I felt odd. It's hard to explain what that feeling was, but more than anything, I felt ill. I was too determined to get you back. This was the perfect chance. I forced everyone in Ponyville to buy at least 1 or 2 boxes of cookies, even convincing those who didn't want to participate. I ignored how sick those cookies made me in order to one-up you. And now I've murdered everyone in Ponyville. Pinkie crumpled to the floor. TikTok bar, bro. Despite her apology, I still didn't believe that she had anything to apologize for. I knelt down and wrapped her in my good wing. Oh, Pinkie, none of this is your fault. It's not like you made those cookies. There's no way you could have known. Pinkie sniffled. Right, but I've been wondering, what did you put in those cookies that made ponies become this? I blinked at Pinkie. I didn't make the cookies. Don't you remember? I said I special ordered them from someone in Camelot. I didn't want to order them from Sugar Cube Corner, otherwise it'd ruin the prank. Pinkie perked up at that, but confusion now on her face. But if you didn't make those cookies, who did? We were interrupted by a horrible sound outside. Help! Help me! Instinctively, Pinkie and I made it back down to Fluttershy's basement. Our sudden entrance startled everyone inside. Scootaloo spoke. What happened? Pinkie immediately shushed her and we listened. Help! Help me, please! She sees me! Apple Bloom gasped. That's a pony! There's a pony out there! Apple Bloom started running up the stairs before Applejack grabbed her by the tail. Apple Bloom, no! Apple Bloom yanked herself away from her sister. There's a pony out there who needs help. Our family is gone, Applejack, just like you said. I have to help any pony I can before it's too late. Before any of us could grab her, Apple Bloom was running up the stairs and outside. Apple Bloom, stop! Applejack desperately screamed as her sister ran away. Instantly, every pony was going after Apple Bloom as the cries for help continued outside. It sounded like a male pony, one I recognized for sure. Apple Bloom burst out of Fluttershy's cottage and turned to the corner where the cries was coming from, and help! 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 Nom nom nom. Rainbow Dash's journal. Trigger warning, character death and blood. Surviving the Cookie Virus Part 5. That scream that came out of Applejack was the worst thing I've ever heard. There was nothing we could do but watch as Apple Bloom was devoured. Even Pinky was too paralyzed to do anything. Things couldn't get any worse. Then Sweetie Belle started charging the creature. Rarity's scream mimicked Applejack's. Sweetie Belle's horn lit up. I could tell she was trying to blind the creature as Pinkie Pie once did. But as soon as her horn lit up, it went out. Pinkie Pie was behind Sweetie in an instant, whipping out her flashlight and successfully stunning the creature. The horrible thud of Sweetie Belle's lifeless body was such a sickening noise. Pinkie didn't say anything, but as soon as the creature was stunned, we were shoved back inside the cottage. "Why didn't you do anything?" Applejack was screaming at Pinkie Pie. Pinkie hushed Applejack by putting her hoof over her mouth, but AJ immediately shoved her away. Applejack jumped on Pinkie and had her pinned. "You could have saved her. Both of them. Why didn't you pull out your stupid little flashlight then?" "Would you keep your voice down? She can hear us from down here." "I don't get an apple's tree root about keeping quiet. Our sisters are dead." Scootaloo started sobbing. I was surprised when she buried her face in my chest, as she was clearly angry with me before. But I wrapped my ring around her in comfort anyway. Rarity stepped in. "Applejack, Pinkie is right. We need to wait until we're safe. What good are we to our sisters if we're also dead?" Applejack hesitated before letting Pinkie go. The next few hours were silent besides the horrible crunching outside. Once it was silent, we were sure we were alone. Rarity found her voice. "So, what do we do now?" Everyone looked at Pinkie. She sighed and kept her head down. "Ponyville is done for, and at this rate the infected will start leaving this town and invading the rest of Equestria. Obviously we need help." "From the princesses?" I spoke up. "But Canterlot is so far away there's no way we can leave Ponyville without getting—" I trailed off thinking about Apple Bloom and Sweetie Belle. "Who else do we go to? Besides, you said you ordered those cookies from a bakery in Canterlot, right? If we can make it there, maybe we can also find the culprit." Applejack made eye contact with me, the first she had in a long time. "Wait, you didn't make those cookies?" I shook my head. I could tell Scootaloo was also relieved by the news, though I still felt like this was all my fault. "But how do we get to Canterlot?" "The fastest way there is by flight, and my wing is busted." "How about by train?" Applejack suggested. "Oh, I doubt the trains still run through here after all of this." "She's right." We all looked at Pinkie. "The train is the best option. I tried escaping on the train days ago, but it had been long abandoned and the conductor eaten. If we can get that train running again, we can make it back to Canterlot." Epilogue. Pinkie's survival tips. Fluttershy, one of the first infected, returned to her cottage after days of being missing. She lured out her victims by mimicking the voice of a pony she had eaten. I have identified this voice to be Dr. Hooves. I suspect the doctor was the reason she was missing. but let his guard down and got himself eaten. If you hear a pony calling for help, ignore it and get indoors as soon as you can. Summary: frowning ponies mimic the screams of their victims. Rainbow Dash's journal. Trigger warning, blood and scary imagery. Surviving the Cookie Virus Part 6. We waited for maybe 2 or 3 days. It was hard to keep track in the basement. AJ claimed her leg was feeling better, though my wing still felt busted. Most of our time was spent in silence or mourning. AJ and Rarities were still mourning over their sister's death, gruesome death. Rarity often quietly sobbing, while AJ would be on edge and get angry at the smallest things. They had very different mourning processes. Eventually, Pinkie wanted to try and initiate her plan of repairing the train and heading to Canterlot. She watched and listened outside for Fluttershy or any other infected before we stepped out of the cottage. I noticed Sweetie and Apple Bloom's bodies were gone. At first, we silently walked for a few feet, going at a slow pace. When Rarity suddenly hushed us. "You hear that?" There was laughter in the distance. But nothing like normal laughter you'd hear at a party. It sounded sinister, broken, and dead. Pinkie, without saying a word, shoved us forward into a sprint. The laughter started following us. Pinkie swooped Scootaloo on her back since she couldn't run as fast as us. She must have gotten a look at what was behind us, because she shrieked horrifically. This caught the attention of other infected as we were starting to be chased by half of Ponyville. "Don't stop until we get to the station," yelled Pinkie. Our lungs were burning by the time the abandoned train came into view. The train was luckily in a better state than I expected. Blood splatters trailed inside the cars, however, presumably from previous passengers. But otherwise it seemed in perfect condition. We ran inside and ducked under the seats. AJ stopped to pull the door shut. The door slammed loudly right as the smiling pony ran into it with a loud crack. Immediately, Pinkie and AJ were at the engine to try and get the train running. Rarity held Scootaloo as close as infected ponies started ramming themselves into the train. The car rocked with every violent shove, the sounds of groaning and giggling emitting from outside. Suddenly, a mangled hoof shattered the thick glass of the train car, covered in blood and glass, but still desperately trying to get in. I was panicking. "Have you guys figured it out yet?" "Trying to. Hold, just hang on. We almost got it." More glass shattered around us. Horrific and stretched faces of our friends peering inside. Scootaloo screamed, and we tried to move away from them. Then we started moving, the train slowly chugging before taking off at a rapid speed. The infected ponies struggled to hang on before falling out, miles away from us. I sighed in relief, still unsure on how they managed to start the train. AJ tried to explain it to me. But I honestly zoned out after the word ignition. Finally, we got out of that town. I hope we never have to see those things again, though I feel guilty for leaving our friends behind. I hope we can still save them. Rainbow Dash's journal. Surviving the Cookie Virus. Part 7. Trigger warning, scary images and faces. The trip to Canterlot would be a long one, 3 hours at the least. For a while, we took the time to calm down, moving up to the engine while Pinky conducted, because the wind blowing through the broken windows was hurting our ears. We were pretty cramped, but I'm glad we were all together. After a little too much silence, Scootaloo spoke up. We're gonna save every pony, right? Even Apple Bloom and Sweetie Belle? Everyone fell into a tense silence at that. Poor Scootaloo. I'm sure she's still in denial about her friends being, well... Rarity ended up being brave enough to respond. How about we talk about something else, Scootaloo? To, lighten the mood? Okay, Pinky, how did you get those scars? I chuckled while Applejack gasped. Scootaloo, that's not polite. Pinky seemed to giggle as well. No, it's okay. I'm surprised it didn't come up sooner. It's not a very nice story, though. Is that okay, Rarity? Rarity said she was okay with it. I knew she just wanted to talk about anything other than Sweetie Belle. Well, when things started to go berserk and you all went missing, I decided to start taking ponies into Fluttershy's cottage to avoid the infected. But once ponies got a good look at my mouth, they were all afraid of me, so they just run away. Eventually, Lyra Heartstrings agreed to bunker with me. I'm not sure you all know her. She was one of Twilight's old Canterlot friends. Everyone seemed to tense at Twilight's name, so Pinky quickly continued. Anyway, I fed her and gave her some blankets to keep warm. I could tell she was troubled, and she told me it's because her girlfriend Bon Bon had become infected with the cookies. She apparently watched her mutate into a monster. Really sad thing to happen. That night, when I had fallen asleep, Lyra must have found an axe with some of my stored weapons. While I was sleeping, she attempted to kill me, slashing an axe across my face. I don't really know why she did it, but I'm sure she was still afraid and heartbroken for Bon Bon, and thought I was infected. So I don't really blame her for what she did. After that, she ran off. I never saw her again. I was shocked. We all were. We sat there staring at Pinky, expecting her to continue. When she didn't, Applejack spoke up. How did you survive an attack like that? I don't know. It hurt as much as it should, like my face was being cut open. But after a few minutes, the pain went away. Do you think you got some kind of super healing powers from the cookies? Pinky shrugged and said she didn't know for sure, but that seemed to only be the logical explanation. Then Scootaloo approached Pinky and pulled back her mane, exposed giant teeth marks on her neck. What about this scar? I'm not talking about that scar. Pinky immediately pushed Scootaloo away and immediately turned around to look ahead. Scoot was in my arms in an instant, nuzzling her face into my coat. I glared at Pinky, despite her not facing us. Scootaloo sniffled, which must have caught Pinky's attention. I'm sorry, Scootaloo. That one's a sad story. Well, can I make it a happy story? Pinkie was surprised by this. I could tell. But she agreed. Well, after Lyra attacked Pinkie, Lyra apologized. She was sorry for what she did, wanted to make it up to her. So Lyra pulled out a little puppy dog for Pinkie. Pinkie was very happy to have a new puppy friend. So Pinkie and Lyra played with the puppy all night until Pinkie felt better. The puppy got too playful and bit Pinkie on accident, but in a puppy voice apologized and licked it better. The end. This clearly made Pinkie very happy. She thanked Scootaloo for the story and... Wait, there's something on the tracks. Bleh. Rainbow Dash's journal. Surviving the Cookie Virus Part 8. I'm having a hard time processing what just happened. What we just witnessed. To any pony else, the creature that stopped itself on the train tracks would have been nothing more than a horrific monster, but we could all tell that it was Twilight. Or used to be, at least. AJ was the first to see her and tried to warn Pinkie. What is that thing? Is that... No, it can't be. Stop the train! You're gonna hit her! Pinkie shuddered, but kept her eyes on the track. No, it's best we run that thing over than stop and get eaten. No pony wanted to argue, so we all held our breaths and braced for impact. BBB. It's hard to recall what happened, but the next thing I knew, I was lying on the floor of the derailed train. The sound of screaming is what jolted me awake. Upon coming to, the engine of the train was blasted open. All of us huddled further back in the train cars. The infected pony was peering at the blasted hole of the train car and laughing uncontrollably. Uncontrollably. Sounding like a crowd of ponies laughing at once. We all slowly tried pressing ourselves further into the train car when the monster's horn started to spark and illuminate, threatening another magical blast. But suddenly it shrieked in pain and stumbled away from the train car. The reason why I couldn't tell at first, until I saw a pony running towards us. Or rather, a zebra. It was undoubtedly Zecora, holding some sort of flute in her mouth, blowing with everything she had. It was ear-piercing, but it seemed to affect Twilight more than us. Hurry up and follow me. To the forest we must flee. We were all in pretty bad shape from the train being derailed, but it was either follow her or get eaten. No contest, really. We all hopped out of the train car and followed Zecora to the Everfree Forest when Applejack started screaming behind us. I could feel my color leave my face when I turned around. Applejack's leg was caught in Twilight's jaw, AJ desperately trying to crawl away. Zecora was on the scene in an instant, blowing her whistle with her full chest. Twilight reacted, but didn't drop, instead standing up, multiple feet tall and dangling her, threatening to run and take Applejack with her. We need something louder than that whistle, Pinkie yelled. I was shocked when Rarity responded instantly. I tried to stop her as we ran back to the train, jumping into the engine and magically pulling a lever. The train whistle responded with a loud whistle and puff of smoke. Twilight shrieked at the noise and dropped Applejack, who I heroically caught on my back. With no delay, we all ran from the scene and into the forest, leaving Twilight behind. We kept running and running until Zecora reassured us we were all safe. Frankly, I'm surprised we all made it out of there alive. Scootaloo had her hooves around Zecora's leg as soon as we stopped to rest. Oh, Zecora, I'm so glad you found us. I thought we were goners for sure. I was surprised to see a train running through, and I'm relieved to see all of you too. I'm sure you've been aware of the chaos in Ponyville. We were trying to make it to Canterlot to get the help of the princesses to put an end to all of this, Pinkie said. Canterlot is where I'm headed to. I hope I could be the one to lead all of you. Some infected ponies respond badly to loud sounds, so blowing a whistle sends them running, I have found. Good thing you found that out. I don't even want to know what we'll run into in the Everfree Forest, but I'm glad you'll be here with us, Zecora, darling, said Rarity. As we started venturing further into the forest, I could tell Applejack was falling behind. AJ, you okay? Is it your bitten leg? Do you need me to carry you? No, I'm fine. It's actually my, hurt leg from before. The blast must have made it all bad again. AJ sounded unsure, but I've decided to shrug it off. If she says she's fine, then she's fine. Applejack never lies. Epilogue. Pinkie's survival tips. Previously, I've discovered frowning ponies negatively respond to bright lights. But I could never crack what repels smiling ponies. That is until Zecora rescued us from Twilight Sparkle, who had turned into a final stage smiling pony. Zecora blew a loud whistle out of a yak horn, making the infected temporarily stop attacking. Summary. Smiling ponies react negatively to loud noises. Rainbow Dash's Journal. Surviving the Cookie Virus, Part 9. Zecora led us through the Everfree Forest on our way to Canterlot to get help. Turns out she was headed there for the same reason. I remained in my hut for as long as I could, but I knew for long I wouldn't be secured. But to my luck, a pony came in for shelter. It was Starlight Glimmer, begging me to help her. Starlight is alive? Rarity gasped in hope. But Zecora hung her head. Starlight's fate is not confirmed, for after she visited me, she never returned. The pony was safe in my hut, to be sure, but all she wanted was to find a cure. It was a tall order to make a remedy so strong. She did not accept this, and told me I was wrong. So I instructed her, go receive me a cookie that started this mess. Then I'll whip up a cure, or at least do my best. Starlight Glimmer left without pause, but since then finding her has been a lost cause. The infected ponies were soon creeping towards my hut. There was no way I could just stay put. I left for Canterlot to find and wait, to find help and wait. But I was afraid Ponyville had suffered its fate. As I roamed, I discovered something profound, like how smiling ponies do not like loud sound. And as another pony hunted me by smell, covering myself in mud made it harder, I could tell. Pinky and I looked at each other before immediately dunking ourselves into a mud bath, followed by Scoot and AJ doing the same. Despite the situation, I couldn't help but smile as we all got muddy. Of course, Rarity groaned and stepped away from the mess. A flick of mud was splattered on Rarity's face, followed by a chuckle from Zecora. I know you do not like dirt, Miss Rarity, but covering yourself with mud is a necessity. With much hesitation and arguing, Rarity eventually allowed herself to get muddy. Well, muddy enough. Zecora seemed to be finished with her story despite us having so many questions, most of which were about Starlight and a possible cure, but Zecora didn't have any of the answers. The journey would be about a 3-day walk, Zecora told us. We wanted to tread carefully in case any infected ponies reached out this far, as Twilight somehow beat us here. And she was still a problem. Oh, Twilight, I don't think I could bear another friend of mine turning into one of those. Applejack! Rainbow Dash's Journal. Surviving the Cookie Virus Part 10. Trigger warning, body horror. Applejack! Rarity screamed. AJ was slumped to the ground, obviously unwell. Rarity and I were under her in an instant, helping her back to her hooves. She felt warm, unusually warm. I'm fine, y'all. I think I just caught a little something. Oh no, you can't be sick. We have to get to Canterlot together. Oh, I thought that was Rarity. No! Applejack gave Scoot a reassuring smile. Don't worry one bit, Sugar Cube. It's just a little head cold. I'll be fine. As the element of honesty, she was never very good at lying. Our trot through the forest slowed to a walk due to Applejack's worsening condition. AJ was stumbling so much Pinky had to press herself against AJ's side to keep her stable. Eventually it grew dark and we had to get some sleep. Zecora threw a blanket over AJ so she could rest as we set up camp, feeding her some sort of medicine she made herself. Gathering firewood while the sun went down was a lot scarier with the threat of a mutant pony lurking in the shadows. I could swear I saw eyes peering at me through every bush and tree. Eventually the fire was lit and we all surrounded it to keep warm while AJ huddled under her blanket, completely passed out, albeit with some stirring and mumbling. We were also worried about her, hoping she would recover from this mysterious sickness soon. The next morning came sooner than I thought. I don't even remember falling asleep. We all stretched and slowly awoke, Zecora offering us some rations she brought with her. Rations? Rations she brought with her. They were dried out berries that tasted like tree bark, but food was food. Zecora tried nudging AJ awake so she could eat and get moving, but AJ responded, I can't move. Zecora went to feel her forehead and assured us that AJ was burning up, even worse than before. I fear this little pony will not recover quickly from this sick. You must all go without us and get to Canterlot quick. Sometimes it was hard to understand Zecora, but she was suggesting that she stayed with Applejack while the rest of them went to Canterlot without them. No! We all need to stay together, Pinky said. Twilight is still out there, and who knows what else. You'll both be sitting ducks. Zecora angrily stomped her hoof. If there is any hope to save Equestria, you must go to Canterlot and find Celestia. Applejack is not fit to make such long trips, and if you wait much longer, it could be an apocalypse. Zecora and Pinkie fought about this for a while before Pinkie eventually gave in, packing up our things and to head to Canterlot without AJ or Zecora. Rainbow. My heart dropped when AJ muttered my name. No, I need Rainbow. Rainbow, please stay. Tears were streaming down AJ's cheeks as she reached for me, and it was obvious that she needed me more than any pony. Zecora and I exchanged a look before she nodded and reached into her sack. Applejack needs you more than me. Take some supplies and you will be safe in the Everfree. Zecora lended me one of her yak whistles, a small sack of berries, and some medicine for AJ. The rest of us exchanged hugs and good lucks before we separated. Rainbow. AJ sounded so much worse than before. I knelt down to her and hushed her, but she started crying again. Rainbow, I did something terrible. Applejack threw the blanket off of her body. I felt myself go pale. No, 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 no. Applejack, please, you're gonna be fine. You'll be just fine. You didn't know this would happen. But I did. I did know. Twilight bit me back at the train, and my legs started to hurt and change colors. So I wrapped the bite up in a bandage so y'all wouldn't see. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I lied. Mixed emotions filled my stomach. I was furious at Applejack for keeping such a big secret, but also devastated at what this meant. Applejack, you can't keep something like this from me. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I know. We can cut off your leg, right? Then the spreading will stop? I'm sure Pinkie left a saw lying around here somewhere. Rainbow, no. I know what you have to do. You have to kill me. What? Please, Rainbow. It's too late for me. I can feel the virus reaching my heart, and eventually it'll reach my brain, and then I'll become one of them. And I'll kill you all. Please, 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 Rainbow. I need to die in order to save you. I didn't know what to say except no. Rainbow, you don't understand. If you don't kill me now, I don't know what I'm gonna become. And I can't keep you all safe. It's okay. I want you to do it. And if you do it, then I'll be able to see my family again. I'll be able to see my sister again. My little apple bloom. Applejack gave me a reassuring smile, but I didn't believe it. I couldn't do it. I couldn't kill Applejack. I couldn't kill her without her knowing, without me telling her. I love you. I mumbled into her neck as we both cried. I could feel her tense for a moment, then relax, brushing a gentle hoof through my mane. Sugar Cube, please, do this for me. For us. I couldn't. So I ran. I ran as far away as I could and never looked back. I wish I didn't run. I wish I could have stayed with her in her last moments. I wish I could have gotten help. Why didn't I do anything? But all I could do was run, and now she's gone. Cookie virus stages. The bitten. Trigger warning, disturbing imagery and body horror. Stage 1. The infection has been Pony has been freshly bitten by an infected pony. Not much has changed by this stage besides the appearance of a bite. The pony is still at full sanity with no other physical changes. At this stage, the pony is not hostile and relatively healthy. The bite at this stage is luckily reversible as long as the rainbow color spreading from the bite was not expanded by more than 3 colors. The only known way to reverse the bite is by amputating the limb that was bitten. Otherwise, no other cure is known. Stage 2. As the rainbow coloring slowly creeps up and spreads across the body, the pony feels flu-like symptoms. The pony's normal coat begins to pale and strands of their mane shed, the bite location swelling up. At this stage, the pony is still sane, but starts to lose their grasp on reality as they approach a death-like state. The only way to ensure the pony doesn't move on to stage 3 is by eliminating the pony entirely before the infection reaches their heart or their brain. The location of the bite determines how fast the pony moves on to stage 3. Paling skin, dizziness, hair sheds, rainbow coloring spreads from bite. Stage 3. Pony's sanity is gone and they have reached the infected or zombie stage. Unlike the smiling and frowning ponies, smilers and frowners, this infection seems to exhibit a different visual emotion that could be considered as fear or surprise. This could be because ponies who were bitten by the infected experience a different variant of the infection rather than the ponies that ate the contaminated cookies. At this stage, these infected appear to attack anything living. While smilers and frowners move at a quick and quiet pace after their prey, these bitten ponies are loud and clunky, appearing to have a hard time knowing where they are going. They end up swaying and knocking themselves into other objects during their hunt. Widened eyes and mouth, Rainbow has reached heart or brain, loud groaning. Stage 4, final stage. The infected's neck has twisted and grown twice the pony's size. Walks silently and blends within the trees. The only way to hear it coming is by its low, strained screams. For stage 3, it is recommended to stay between trees, but do not be in a forest with stage 4. It is silent and knows its way around. But it is also very slow. Weaknesses are unknown, but listen for the screams. Applejack? Surviving the Cookie Virus Part 11. Trigger warning, spooky imagery. What troubles you, sister? Ponyville appears to be dreamless. I haven't been able to locate a single dream in that area for days. I'm beginning to worry. I see. Is it possible that simply no pony is dreaming? Isn't the dreams, whether they remember dreaming or not? Not only can I not locate dreams, it doesn't appear any pony there is sleeping at all. I see. I'll send a letter to Twilight in the morning. Good luck with your roots tonight, sister. I hope this is figured out soon. Later that night. Princess Luna sighs, finally deciding to enter the night world. Let's hope this time I'm a little more lucky. Her horn illuminates as she finally enters. She looks around for a moment. She doesn't see anything. It's all normal. Fancy pants, Brayburn. Still no Ponyville dreams. Applejack! Finally, a Ponyville dream! I need to ask her what's going on. Is she having a nightmare? Why does her dream look like that? I hope Ponyville isn't in danger. I need to get there quick! She lands onto the floor with a screech, coming to a halt. Huh? It's dark. The only light she can see is her hair, so she decides to illuminate her horn. Hello? She gasps as she hears a groan behind her. Apple? She gets cut off as she sees the infected version of Applejack. Applejack? Lee. No, she's taking a photo. Hi. Sob, sniffle, sob, sob, sniffle, sob. Sister? Alright, well, that is it. The creator left some notes and stuff. This is absolutely amazing. Oh my god. So amazing. I will be waiting and waiting for the next one. I'm so glad to see you are doing okay, and I hope you have a good day. Goodbye.